Well, howdy and welcome to Monday's edition of Today's Bread. Now, we have begun a new series called Messages on the New Testament. This week, we're going over the Synoptic Gospels of Matthew, Mark, and Luke. Today's portion is Serve the King by Serving Others. Our scripture reference is Matthew 25, verses 31 through 40. Now, most of us have a favorite gospel. Now, in Matthew 24:3, Jesus' disciples asked what the sign of his coming would be. Well, the fifth discourse found in Matthew 24:1 through 25:46 is Jesus' answer. Early in the discourse, Jesus told his disciples things to encourage them to be ready for his return. They were ready to hear about how Jesus would be glorious king, but they did not understand what kind of a king he is. In 25:31, Jesus told them that when he came, angels would be with him, and he would sit on the throne of his glory. Christ is a king, but not an earthly king. He is instead a king with power over all the earth. His power is not restricted to any nation or empire. All nations will gather before him, and he will judge the people of earth based on what they have done. You see that in verses 32 and 33. Now, in verses 34 through 36, Jesus talked about things sheep do. The sheep are surprised to learn that they had served Christ as they cared for those in need. Those who had answered the invitation to be a part of the kingdom had shown their faith by acts of kindness. So Jesus affirmed to them that God has prepared an eternal kingdom to be a place for those who have faith in him. Well, scholars have debated what Jesus meant by the least of these, my brethren, in verse 40. Well, the word least describes the unimportance and insignificance of the people helped, especially in the world's eyes. As believers, we do have a responsibility to help our fellow believers who are in need. But there is a wider application. There are many in the world who are considered unimportant and insignificant. Just as Jesus did not overlook the poor and suffering in his day, we cannot overlook the poor and suffering today. When we minister to them, it is the same as ministering to the Lord, who is Christ, our King. And he will not forget the sacrifices we have made for his kingdom by serving others. Thank you, and I pray that you've enjoyed today's fresh daily bread. You know, church is not a place to go to. It's a family you belong to. So come be a part of the family. Now, Monday's prayer focus is pray for God's covering over the hearts, minds, and future of the next generation. Now remember, Jesus is coming back soon. Here's Monday's blessing. God's goodness is so great, and he has stored up blessings, great blessings, for those who trust and revere him. I bless you with God's great blessings today.